Tonya, tell us a little bit about your situation. I know your husband was not able to make it today.
My husband had back pain for a couple weeks, very high up in the back, but he's 44, and we had done some things around the house and things, and he just thought he hurt his back, and it wasn't overwhelming pain, just every now and then he could feel it. That went on for a few weeks, you know, some back rubs, some icy hot, didn't think anything of it, and then he realized he was feeling full very quickly. And he joked, he said, "I'm easily a 3-piece of pizza guy, and after a couple bites, I feel like it's Thanksgiving." He just felt very full. But we didn't think anything of it. I kind of joked with him and said, "We're getting older, maybe we should stop the carbs." And then he realized he was having a hard time going to the bathroom. And he joked with me, he goes, "I haven't gone in a couple days." I said, "It's okay." He goes, "No, not for me." And I said, "Okay, well, we're going to the doctor then." That night was a Monday night, and he ended up getting up out of bed in the middle of the night and slept at the dining room table with a pillow on the table, laying down on the table because he was in so much pain. So the next day he went to work, which was a Tuesday, a 24-hour shift. So I texted him the contact to call the doctor, and I said, "Call now." They got him in Wednesday morning. The doctor asked him what his pain scale was, and he lowballed it. She said she could tell by his actions that his pain was actually much higher. He was kind of sweaty and shaking a little bit. So she immediately asked for a CT scan in labs, which was Wednesday, September 19th, this past September. So just about 5 weeks ago. And he got the labs done on Wednesday, did the CT on Thursday, and she called us in on Friday in the morning. And she started to cry and asked us how old our children were. And she said she had bad news for us, that my husband had stage 4 cancer. So I remember looking at my husband saying, "Oh, that's out of nowhere." So I said, "Okay, he has cancer. What are we hoping, what kind of cancer are we hoping for it to be?" She kind of looked at me like, "That's a weird question." I said, "Well, it's already cancer. What am I praying for it to be? What's our best chance?" And she threw one out to us, and we said, "Okay, that's what we'll pray for." And that was on a Friday, so we had the whole weekend to go. We had a PET scan scheduled for Monday and a biopsy scheduled for Thursday. Based on the PET scan, that's when we found out it started in the stomach. From the CT scan, they said there were over 50 masses in his liver, over 20 in his lungs, and his entire lymphatic system has been taken over. Thursday, the biopsy says it originated in his stomach. So now we're looking at stomach, liver, lungs, and lymph nodes. We get to the doctor, and I said, "What's the plan? What are the odds of remission or beating this?" And she said, "You're not going to beat this. Right now, we're just going to prolong his life for your children so that you can make some memories." So my husband, who's 44, we're in the place of just getting him well enough to make memories. We've got 3 different opinions. We've gone to Mayo, MD Anderson, and a Florida cancer specialist. And the range of his lifespan, depending on how chemo works for him, is anywhere between 6 months, and we're hoping for 1.5 to 2 years. I have a 16-year-old daughter, an 11-year-old daughter, and a 4-year-old daughter. So it's been surreal the last 5 weeks.
I can't even imagine. I mean, I don't even know where to start to try to ask the emotional range that you've been dealing with. He was just told this.
It's been 5 weeks.
How are your children taking it?
My oldest daughter and my husband are best friends. They've joked for years that when she goes to college, she's going to have a room for her dad. And if she's got the option of going out with her friends or hanging out with her dad, it's always been her dad. Everybody always said how close they were. She is very, very strong in her faith. She has gotten very rooted in her faith this year, and she actually said, "Mom, don't worry about me." My middle daughter's who I worry about the most. She's 11, and she tightened up and just immediately stood up and went to her room and closed off. So we had to have a talk about that. And my youngest daughter is only going to know my husband's sick. She's not going to have any memories of him prior to that. I think what got me the most is when my husband said, he started recounting everything he's going to miss. He said he's not going to see our oldest daughter get married. He's not even going to see our middle daughter graduate high school. And he's probably not going to see our youngest get to kindergarten. So it's hard to watch him knowing, because he's scared of what he's going to miss and what they're going to miss out on. So that's hard, because this is not what we planned. We've had discussions of, oh, when the kids grow up and we have grandkids and Thanksgiving dinners at our house, and within an hour, everything shifted. It's like someone pulled the rug out from under you and said, everything that you thought is no longer. So it's been very difficult. Yeah, the gamut of emotions from one end to the other. I second guess every decision we make when it comes to treatment, and that's why I went with 3 different opinions. And I told him, I said, this isn't going to end the way we want it to end, and I have to know that we've left no stone unturned. We've talked to everybody, we've tried everything. And he agreed that no stone left unturned. So.
Thank you for explaining that. Do you and your husband have an idea how he got his cancer?
Neither of us are ever qualified to say how it came to be. And a majority of people probably don't know how they got their cancer. But I know my husband's been in the fire service for almost 13 years. He had 0 risk factors, enough to surprise our doctor. The only exposure that he's had that's above and beyond what a common citizen is his line of work. What aspect of that, we have no idea. But that's the only thing that sets him apart right now from another 44-year-old man who has no risk factors to have a cancer that is so aggressive and grew so quickly that right now we don't even have a chance to fight.